This one's for the culture. Me and wifey in the room thinking of a master plan, thinking how we can influence the culture from where we stand. Knowing that our steps are ordered by the master's hand, still 10 toes down, we ain't switching up the stance. The mission of this music ain't just to make them dance, trying to tell them about the right.
And welcome to episode 5 of the Bond Chronicles. We've done so many of these, we're just having a good time, but I believe it is episode 5. So we thank you very much for tuning in. We have a power-packed, volatile, potentially all over the board. We got some good stuff coming. So definitely tune in all the way through. We appreciate all the love and support, the likes. Make sure you are liking. Make sure that you are sharing. Make sure that you are... You threw me off. You said... Which ones did you say?
Subscribing and sharing.
Okay. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Definitely tune into our YouTube page, The Bond Chronicles there. I am the great, the handsome, the gentleman, the non-cheating husband.
Yes, Jesus.
Mr. Bond Chronicles on Instagram and Mr. Ray Bond on Twitter. And I am joined by my lovely host,
Mrs. Bond Chronicles on Instagram. And it has been pointed out to me that I can't keep telling people that I don't have Twitter, because I do have Twitter, but I don't really use it like that. So on Twitter, I'm also Mrs. Bond Chronicles. Robin Bond on Facebook.
Wait, are you sure? Because I can't put my whole name. I can't put Mr. Bond Chronicles on Twitter. So how do you get Mrs. Bond Chronicles?
I don't know. So I guess I have to double check that. I'll fact check that, folks.
All right. Sounds good. Okay. So I just got to get this off early. So again, I didn't know this dude until like a couple weeks ago. 2 things. One, if your man has the last name Jackson.
What?
And it's Jaxsn, probably should leave him alone. He's not a real black man. He's not a real Jackson. I've never seen Jackson spelled like that in my
life. Is that really
life.
how it's spelled, or is it? I thought that was maybe just a social media thing.
Is it a social media thing?
I think it's just a social media thing. Okay. I think his actual name is spelled
regular Jackson. Way. Okay, so that's good if that's the case. So that actually leads me to my next point. So when I first saw his name, I thought, and I saw who he was before I knew like everything was going on, I thought he was a porn star.
Oh my God.
I thought with that kind of name, that kind of spelling with the X, and then he's this big old swole black dude, I was like, oh, he must be in like the adult entertainment industry.
That's an interesting take.
So apparently not. Well,
no.
We don't actually know.
Yeah, it might be some tapes floating, probably.
At the rate he's going,
yeah,
they definitely could be. A lot of this whirlwind started a couple weeks ago from a YouTuber named Tasha K. I know nothing about her. I can't speak to her credibility. I can't speak to her motivation. I know nothing about this woman. Except they posted this video after she started talking. So she says that most of the story that we are hearing from the Jacksons is a lie. And that she's had people for years that were claiming to have been with Mr. Jaxsn.
Yeah.
But none of them would ever come forward.
And then she finally got someone recently. I guess the chick who's floating around at the center of this current thing.
The current mistress.
Well, sure.
Yeah. She was like,
I'm going to come forward. Yeah. I'm going to tell. I got pictures. I got receipts. And yeah, it's just all been downhill from there.
Yeah. So shout out to her for being able to stand up to this
womanizer.
I don't want to get into allegations. If you ain't willing to come forward, I don't have a lot for you. If it happened to you, I'm sorry for you. But if you can't come forward, there's not a lot we can do with that, at least from my perspective. But we're here. And so then we had what my wife has coined as the apology tour. Has there been like multiple things, or is it just...
No, like they've posted. So initially after Tasha K's post went out and started going viral, he addressed it by himself. Like he's at his office, he's got everything set up, and like he's live on I think YouTube and Instagram and some other stuff. And he's like, even even before he started with everything that he was gonna say, he was like, all right, there's 3 people in here. There's three types of people in here. They're the people who know my work, they want to know what my side of the story is, and they're here to support me. Then there are people who are on the fence and don't really know how to feel about it. And then there are the bloodthirsties. And the bloodthirsties are the people who've never really liked me. They've never supported the things that I do. And they come in here looking for blood because they see it in the water or smell it in the water. Some bull crap. But essentially, like that whole first video, I don't even want to say that he was apologizing. I don't feel like he took any ownership in anything that was, had come out at that point. And he kept like promoting his books. Like he's written 2 books. I didn't know that. Okay. But he's written 2 books, and he's just like, everything that we've gone through is here in this book. So if you get this book, I'm just like, dude, you're a fraud. Ain't nobody buying that book now.
The book was about how they overcame his adultery, or
the second book, I believe, is somewhere along the lines.
So he wrote a book about cheating on his wife.
Building a stronger relationship or something about intimacy or something like that. But he picked up that book like 10 times throughout the whole little video. And basically it was just like, things have happened. And I will say that a lot of the stuff that's coming out now isn't true. He was just lying through his teeth. And then he did actually give a timeline of their separation, because for what it's worth, they really were separated. But he didn't follow his own advice in not dealing with someone while you're separated, because until the divorce papers are signed, you're still married.
So just for our viewers and for me, so they were separated because of his cheating?
No. Well, I don't know why. He didn't say why they were separated, and she hasn't said why they were separated. But they were separated because they were both apparently really unhappy. Like she took the kids. Because
in the video I saw them together, it seemed like that she alluded to the reason she left was because of the cheating.
Oh, okay.
I mean, when they sat down, he's holding her hand or whatever.
Grasping her for dear life.
Yeah, like,
save me, babe.
She spoke about her separation in that context. And I feel like she could have easily clarified, I didn't leave then because of cheating. And she didn't.
No, so I mean, it's possible that,
So he cheated, she left, and then he kept cheating while she was gone. And then apparently he's still cheating.
So apparently he's still cheating.
Okay, I just want to clarify the time.
Again, that's speculation. Like I don't think he's ever specifically stated that she left because of cheating, and she hasn't either.
I'm insinuating based on what I heard.
Yeah, but she dipped out. She took the kids and she went to go stay with her mom, and then apparently all hell broke loose after that, and he got caught up. And according to his little timeline, when they started talking again, he claims that the chick that he was having a non-sexual sexual relationship with, that's what he called it in the video, a non-sexual sexual relationship.
What is that?
I don't know. It was an entanglement. Okay, that's what it was.
Well, we know entanglement means sleeping with someone, so that's sexual. Just for clarity.
And so after, I guess once that he said he did it, like he stopped calling her, he ghosted her so that him and his wife could reconnect. He said that she filed for divorce, like she was out. And that's when he stopped all the drinking and drugging and everything that he was doing, and sought the counsel of a mentor, and rededicated his life back to God. I hate when people do, and then it's just okay, dude. And then they have moved forward. He's been faithful. He's been #1 husband since then.
Okay. So we got the timeline out the way. And then we have the video of him and his wife. And so I'm going to take a step back really quick because her name is Denaya.
Denaya.
Denaya, you probably will never see this video. But Denaya, let me tell you, I respect the heck out of you. I know people have dragged you. People have talked about you. People have said negative things about your decision. I have 100% respect for you. I don't know if you made the right decision taking this man back. But I respect the heck out of you. Like, she addressed it. There was a second follow-up video. And I can't argue with anything that she said. Mm-hmm. Like, from this whole process, most everything I've heard from her, I can't argue it. She said, as a person that, you know, walks by faith and lives for Christ, she's standing on what she believes in. And so I'm not going to knock her for that. I'm not going to chastise her, say how dumb she is, or anything like that. Even the way that she defended her appearance. Like, she said, I'm not the one that's out in front of the camera. Like, I'm not the one that is the great orator. That's not my life. Yeah. And so whether that was true or not, I don't think she needed to go get all dolled and dressed up for them to do that video. He looked rough and she looked frustrated and over it.
She did. Like, and I think that's what most of what I got from her in watching her in that video was like, you know, we decided to work through our problems, and this has been a healing process for the both of us. And now because the side chick has decided that she wanted to go and spill her guts because, well, in reality, the only reason the chick really said anything was, one, for clout, right, and two, because he went back to his wife. Had he not left it, had he left his wife and been with her, we wouldn't even know this was going on.
Well, he left his wife.
Oh, I mean,
he would have figured out.
We would have figured out, oh, you know, he got a divorce and now he's with this new chick. Mm-hmm. But she was mad because he went back to his wife.
This reminds me of the Red Table Talk situation so bad.
It is. I mean, it's exactly like
parties who felt jilted went and aired all the dirty laundry when it was over and done with. Mm-hmm. And I think that is, like I said, to her point, I think that's what she's like, we dealt with this, we've moved on, and now I got to deal with this crap again.
But publicly. Yeah.
Now we got to deal with it. So all that occurred, I'm talking, excuse me, between them two.
Oh, yeah.
So all of those emotions that she went through, she has to go through all of that again. And she's just like, based on the woman I see, I don't know this woman at all, but just on what I seen and I heard, she's like, I'm over this. I've done what I'm praying for my husband. I'm praying for my marriage. I'm believing my marriage. And now I got to go talk about something that I've already believed I got the victory over. Mm-hmm. So I get it. Like, I completely understand it. And again, I have full respect for your decision. With that being said, he just off to me. I'll say that. I didn't watch the first interview or whatever video, but he's, like you said, he's promoting his book. So that's the first video. Poor taste, poor timing. Now you might realize that your little YouTube views might be going down because people ain't gonna watch your little inspirational stuff. So you need to find another form of revenue. I don't know if you're the only income in your household. Whatever. If that's the choice you wanted to make, that's fine. Poor timing. Read the room, just tone deaf. Secondly, there's a way you can own your wrong with humility.
Oh, yeah, and there was no humility in it.
And in that interview, like, the hand-holding said, I'm sorry and I need to do better. But everything else about him said, yeah, I did it. And this is what I did. And I gave her the full synopsis. And all that, like you're happy. Like, you're proud. Like, yeah, I did that and she's still here. That is not your place, bro. Like, that ain't it. You look like an absolute clown. You should be praising God that woman stuck by your trifling self.
Facts.
Like, and I don't know where they live at, but
I think they're in Atlanta.
Okay, so they're in Atlanta. You got kids, bro. You think you need to sell some books now? Let her walk out that door. You're going to need to sell a whole lot more than some of them books you walk out that door. So you need to be, I'm so sorry. This is my queen. I love her. I did her wrong. That was none of that. That was, yeah, I did it. And this is what it is. and you got anything you want to say? Like, bruh, do you not understand the situation you're in?
And I don't think that he, like, I mean, again, from an outsider looking in, like, I don't feel like he does. Like, I don't think he gets it, because she's taken him back and he claims that he's moving in the right direction. But at the same time, as a public figure, you've done everything that you've basically been telling people for the last, 6 years not to do. And to someone seemingly who does nothing but love you, like completely supportive of the platform that you're building, and is still willing to take you back after the ultimate betrayal within a marriage. Like,
because even in that, like, to my knowledge, like, he's been making videos up to this point, right?
Yeah.
And she said nothing.
And it's not even just videos. Like, he does appearances. He speaks at conferences. I was watching something on, I think, like, OWN or WeTV or something, and he was one of their, like, panel people. I'm just like, this person. Right. This dude is out here doing the most,
And she's sitting there watching this.
Yeah.
Not saying nothing.
Not saying anything.
Supporting you in your endeavors. And you get on there and you act like that. Like, this was it. Her character, like, A1. Like,
yeah,
you ain't gonna hear
definitely.
nothing from me, but it sucks that she's with that guy.
It does. And that's, I think, less about the video of them together, but more about her video. Because I watched her video, and, I guess she felt the need to address some of the things that people were saying. Mm-hmm. And it was like, again, what she was saying, 100% rooted in faith. And as a woman of God, like, you want to believe for your marriage to be healed from a situation like this.
Right.
And her ground that she's standing on is God.
Yeah.
And she's believing that God is healing them, and she doesn't need anybody else's opinion on where they go from here. Mm-hmm. And so, obviously, I look at the comments and the things that I read from people in the comments, and my first impression was like, there are a lot of hurt, bitter people out here giving really, really, really bad relationship advice. Because a lot of what I was seeing was them telling her, oh, girl, you need to go get it back. Like, go sleep with his brother, his daddy, somebody. I was like, how is that going to make the situation better? What is that going to do for them to make the situation better? Because regardless of what he's done in the past, and she's taken him back at this point, right. If she chooses to be petty and go out and do something, it's not, oh, well, this is because you did this. It's, I'm still hurting and I want to lash out and hurt you. And now we're both sitting here together, hurt. Right. Nobody's moving past the situation. Nobody's healing from the situation. And we're going to be stuck in this moment of time because we continue to hurt each other. And that is not how marriage works. Like,
not at all.
Not
a successful one.
Exactly, not a successful one. And obviously, we've only been married for 2 years. Almost 2 years. Yeah. Our anniversary is in May. Hey! We've only been married for 2 years, but that first year, like, I will say, like, with 100%, honesty and transparency, I did not realize, for me, how many, not necessarily broken things, but how much luggage I carried into our marriage from other relationships. And marriage, if you walk into marriage thinking that you're fine, but you're really not, marriage will expose all of that.
All of it.
And you want to be vulnerable with your spouse and able to communicate with them through those, I guess, difficult moments, difficult times. Yeah. And the counsel that you get from the people around you, like 100% will affect how you're dealing with your spouse. So I'm really glad that she's not looking to social media, or, she's, again, rooted in her faith and moving forward in her life from there. Because otherwise, this situation could spin completely out of control, and they really would be divorced by the end of the year. Right. And then again, her appearance and all of that. And obviously a lot of people posted pictures of the women that he's cheated with or the one who came forward. And I know everybody knows this, but if a man is going to cheat or if a woman is going to cheat, it's got nothing to do with what their spouse looks like.
Quavo just cheated on Saweetie and everybody love her.
I know, Saweetie bad though.
I'm not super familiar with it, but Jay did it.
Right.
Quavo did it.
People do it. And
J-Lo's been engaged 5 times. Like, it don't matter.
A-Rod.
Yeah.
Right, A-Rod. But the whole thing with A-Rod is he had chicks signing NDLs.
Smart. but like, that's not a thing. But that's not a thing. The baddest will get cheated on. And that goes both ways. It don't matter how much money you got, how many cars you got, how many houses you got. You can, and cheating happens. But to her point, in the one part, there's 2 parts to this that have flip sides. On one hand, this fiasco of a situation has given her a platform.
Oh, definitely.
That she did not have. And again, I cannot say this enough. The level of respect that I have for her, because she's taken the situation, she addressed a little bit of it, but she's spitting knowledge and facts about who God is and what he can do in your life.
Yep.
And so she could easily get into mudslinging, or when she came out in the 2 videos I've seen since that video, she didn't come out all dressed up and dolled up. She said, this is who I am.
And I 100% respect and appreciate that about who she's presenting herself to be. Because I guess, and I think I told you, if you scroll through her like Instagram timeline, like you go back and you see, oh, she used to do it. Yeah. And she hit a point, and it seems like, according to Derrick's timeline, we're not going to set that in stone, no. Yeah. But it seems like around the same time where he said that they separated or they were going through a lot of issues, she, transparently on social media was like, these are the things that I'm dealing with. These are the hurts that I never healed. These are the things that were destroying me from the inside. And I got to a point where it's like, either I'm going to live for God or I'm going to live for the world. And the way that I feel, I'm going to live for God, and he's going to show me who I am. Mm-hmm. He's going to reveal to me the woman that I'm going to be. And I 1000% respect that, as I'm currently going through that. Like, you go from wanting approval from all these people, all these things, and these different avenues, when in reality, the only person you really need approval from is God. Like, right. It's at the end of the day.
And she said that.
But for, I think she's like our age, so she's like 30.
Yeah.
But you've spent your life trying to be this other person. Mm-hmm. And it's really hard to let go of all those old habits, all those things that were hurting you, and understand what it's like to really live for God.
Right.
So 100% respect to her for that.
So I forget where I was going.
2 sides.
Yeah. So the flip side to this is, one, she's getting her platform, and a ton of people get a chance to hear, and I believe be encouraged, because I was inspired by what she said. The flip side to that is they get to see this other guy who is on the right path, who's now living for Christ. And now we got more allegations coming out.
Yep.
So it's like, which one is it? Are you better or are you not? Because what bothers me the most in life a lot of times is when people make God look bad. Like, if you want to look like trash, you want to be a trash individual, be trash. But don't tie God's name to you, so then people think that everybody that associates with the God that I serve acts like you.
Right.
And so I think it also disparages people that want to take the stance that she wants to take. People that want to fight for their marriage. People that want to believe for their marriage. She's out there saying, I'm believing God, that he's going to heal my marriage, that he's going to fix my family, that he's going to bring back everything that the enemy came to steal, kill, and destroy. And you got her out here looking dumb because you can't control yourself.
Right.
Like, get your life together. And that's the part that really frustrates me about this. Is, one, you got a good black queen at home that is riding for you and has been riding for you, and you continue to make her look silly even when she continues to pray and believe for y'all.
Yeah.
So I really, really hope that this last allegation isn't true. The pictures that I seen make it look really, really true. But I just really hope that we get to a point where she wants to move forward with their marriage, so that's what I would want for them. But I really hope something clicks in his brain, like, wake up. I need to get my life together. These likes, these views, these checks that I'm getting are not enough. That's not what's going to sustain my marriage. And you got kids.
Yeah.
Like,
and they're seeing this.
You are an example. In today's society, we're dealing with our own issues like YouTube. Like, your kids can Google you very easily.
Mm-hmm.
And so the days of the dad going out and it being a secret, like, that's dead. If they don't know, their friends are going to tell them.
Yep.
Like
your dad cheats on your mom and all that stuff. Like, you don't want your kids to have to deal with
Nobody
that.
wants that.
Like
your kids got to answer for your trifling mistakes, your trifling bad decisions. Like, that's not it. So, and I think that's a huge part of what people just miss in a lot of these scenarios is when kids are involved, like, your kids are going to have to answer for this at some point, if they're not already. And as a man, how can you be a leader of your household and you can't lead your own life? So the impact on what they will eventually become, like, that's their example.
Yeah.
And so the process or the generational curse could potentially continue because we've seen with, like, Love and Basketball and other things, like, that becomes a pattern where when your dad's trash, you don't know who to even go to. And you can find yourself in really, really bad situations. So I hope and pray, and, like, I will legitimately pray. I don't, you know how black people say, I'm gonna pray for you, you never do.
No, we pray for people when
we actually, that is a prayer of mine that they figure out how to work through this. And that whatever it is that is tempting him, because we're driven by our own temptations. Mm-hmm. So whatever is tempting him, like, he'll get rid of that. Because that's just not enough. Not gonna work for me.
No, yeah, I completely agree. How do I say this? The aspect of him on his, and this happens really frequently whenever someone messes up or someone decides, you know, gets caught doing wrong. The first thing they say is, I'm seeking counsel from, you know, my pastor or from God or whatever. But then they turn around and get caught up in the same situation again, or a situation even worse. And it's like, dang, well, what was you praying? Who were you talking to?
I don't know.
And it bothers me because, and this is my own struggle and walk in faith, that you don't always see what you're praying for manifested immediately.
Right.
And for me, I think especially because when Rob passed away last year, my biggest struggle within that was, why did you take him? Like, what was your reasoning behind that? And, you know, obviously I'm not going to get an answer about it. There's not going to be like some resolution that happens.
Obviously. That can happen.
But not to the desire that I would want it to happen. Okay. And and I'm sure there are other situations that, you know, that test your faith and what you're believing for. So for someone like that, or for him to use his platform to, you know, I've rededicated my life to God, I'm doing all these things, I'm seeking him, and, you know, putting that out there like that. And then if this stuff does come to be true again, and he's still out here doing whatever he wants to do, like you said, it makes her look dumb. But it really does turn people off from deciding to walk with God. It's like, if I'm going to feel betrayed and humiliated and all these things while I'm in, you know, walking with Christ, what is the point? I can just be out here in the streets doing the exact same thing, and I don't have to feel convicted or whatever about my wrongdoings. So that's a really crappy part of this situation. So hopefully, if it is true that she decides that this is it, and, you know, she takes her exit, that's what I would want for her to do, because you're not going to keep embarrassing me when I'm out here, you know, trying to pray and, you know, believe for favor in our marriage, and you still out here wilding out. Like, that's what you're not going to do.
Right. So that brings us to another point, and I will be very curious. We didn't, like, talk through this beforehand, so I have no idea what she's about to say. But I'm going to ask, so in a situation like this, do you believe a relationship can come back after infidelity, or will it always be different after that?
I think it's always different. I mean, even with believing God for healing, like, to an extent, yeah, things will get better and you know, decide to continue on with the relationship. But, and it's human nature. There's always going to be like that tiny little voice in the back of your head, and you're looking at your partner like, dang, you could be lying to my face right now and I don't even know it. Like, and because a lot of times, you know, when you do find out that your spouse or your significant other has been cheating on you, you didn't even know what was going on. Like, you had a suspicion or an inkling, or, you know, but a lot of times it's like, dang, well, how? Like, you go to work, you come home, where do you even have time to squeeze in all this other stuff? And so, you know, it's always a question, obvious 100% of trust.
Yeah.
Because that's like, I'm not going to say it's dead after that, but it's really hard to restore that after infidelity. And so you take them back, and obviously you don't want to hold it over their head that they've done it and you took them back because of it, because again, you're not going to be able to move forward from it. But again, like, in the back of your mind, it's just like, I don't even really know how to trust you yet again.
So I didn't know where you were going to go. I completely agree. And she had alluded to this in one of her videos, that once a cheater, always a cheater. Like, that's a lie from the pit of hell. Well, ma'am, that might be true. I'm not going to fight you on it. But I subscribe. And the reason I subscribe is just my life's point of view. The people I know that in my life, I've known that have cheated, they didn't cheat just once. And so it's interesting you mentioned the counseling piece. And so I know a person, that's not true. It was my situation.
I was thinking like, I was going to do
that, but I'm not. So not this situation. So a previous situation, I went through that where a person cheated. We went to counseling. We left counseling. 2 days later, they were cheating again. And I'm just like, why are we going to counseling? Like, I didn't want to go to counseling in the first place. And we're going to kind of get into deal breakers and relationships later. Like, that's it for me. Like, to your point of, I don't know how people move past that. I don't understand it. That from that point forward, every time you leave the house, every time you're on the phone, every time I see you texting or on your phone, that's where my mind goes. That's how I function. I hyperanalyze everything. A lot of times it's to my benefit. Sometimes it's to my fault. And so I get thoughts in my head and I'm overthinking. And then there's been a bunch of times I've had entire conversations in my head about things that did not happen. And then I get out the shower pissed. And I'm like, and then something else happens and it triggers that. And I just go off. And it's like, that wasn't really actually for you. That was about something I thought. But it came from a place of hurt and lack of trust.
Yeah.
And so me as a person, that is like the most important thing, is to be able to trust, loyalty, and respect. And infidelity crushes all of that.
Yeah.
And so I haven't mastered the ability that apparently she has, and maybe my relationship with God isn't as strong as hers. That's not where God has graced me to deal with people that cheat, that lie, that manipulate. Because even when I've thought about, like, could I cheat? And I'm not saying that I'm like above cheating, I'm not perfect. I don't think I ever will. But the mental process, right? But the mental process that it takes to cheat is a lot of work. Like, I've thought, like, we had a conversation a while ago, like, how would you cheat during COVID? And like the work and effort that it takes to cheat is like, dang. Like, I don't want to go through that. And then have to carry that burden. Like, how do you go do that and then come back home and smile in somebody's face and hug them
and
love them?
The violation right there. Because it's not even just you decided you were going to leave and then you go and do what you're going to do. No, you decided you're going to go and do what you're going to do and still come back to me, sleep in my bed, and lie to me about doing this, that, and the third with whoever else you're doing it with. Like, it's dirty. And then like, it completely changes the way that you feel about your spouse physically. 100% changes the way. Because I don't really, like, we got to go back to using condoms. Like, you need to go get tested.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many different levels that it violates your relationship. If you choose to take that person back, I don't know. Again, like you said, like, God hasn't worked enough in my heart to say that I would be able to take, obviously we're married, so take you back after you cheated. Like, I just,
I don't know how to do it. I didn't do it for what it's worth. So, like, when I was presented with that opportunity, it cost me, there was a cost for it, and that's the other part. Like, there is a cost to this, and it's a heavy burden to pay, and I'm sure they're paying it, and for what it's worth, I'm sure Derrick has got a ton of stuff in his mentions that he probably doesn't like, that might make him feel a certain type of way. I haven't seen it shown in his actions, or his persona, but I don't think anybody wants to hear a bunch of negative comments and be perceived, and people making videos and people blasting you in your business.
There's
similar to what we're doing.
Really, really good memes though.
Yeah.
Like, what's his Lil Zaval? He's been killing it with the memes.
So, like, I get that. He's still a human. Like, that can't be fun. But like she said in her video, he made his bed. He got to lay in it. So I'm glad we're at least on the same page that, and that's adding motivation, obviously. Don't go cheat.
Nope.
Because you never know what happens. People die when people cheat. And it's sad, but
people
it happens.
Die when people cheat.
Do you not watch the news?
Oh,
like,
I mean, yeah.
Like,
and then that's another
that
thing.
betrayal is...
It's deep. And then if you compound that with, you already were having issues in your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you 100%, I'm not screwed too tight. And we're having issues. We're working, I'm working, I'm praying, I'm probably like fasting, I'm doing different devotionals, really trying to heal our marriage. And I find out that you out in the streets, like...
Yeah.
You might catch one or two.
And like, we're fasting right now, so we know what it's like to be without food. And if I'm fasting for you, I'm giving up God's chicken for you.
Not God's chicken,
like,
though.
I ain't had no pepperoni pizza. I ain't had no Popeye's chicken sandwich. I ain't had none of that for you. And then you take your tired, trifling self out here and lay in somebody else's bed or motel room, and then crawl your sorry, sniveling self back in my bed.
Yeah.
Ain't no way. Yeah, like, it's a lot. So, again, much respect to her and to other people. She's not the only one, sadly.
Yeah, and that's the thing. People go through this all the time.
As I went through my situation, I heard a lot of people that I, like, revered and, like, respected, and they was like, you sure you want to do this? Because I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yes, I do. Like, why you didn't? But it's sadly super common. And specifically in churches, in Christian people. Like, the statistics ain't much better in our lives, and in some cases it's worse.
That's crappy.
It is. But that, to her point, and we haven't talked about this side, there is another side. We ain't going to try and freak y'all out about spiritual and natural, but there is another side. And there is a motivation behind dividing the household.
Almost definitely.
And splitting the household and taking, whether it's the man or the woman, and a generation of children that are raised and have been raised in a lot of cases from me and a lot of my friends where they don't have two-parent households. And statistics show children are better off with two parents in the household.
Mm-hmm.
And sadly, a lot of times, whether it's addiction or infidelity drives the wedge between the man and the woman of the house, and it's causing chaos and generations. And it leads to drug addictions and lawlessness and a bunch of other stuff. And then it just sows seeds that they end up reproducing. Stronghold. It is.
Like 100% creates a stronghold in the heart, in the mind, in the spirit. You know, it builds. You grow up not wanting to trust people.
100%.
The people who you idolize as your first example of what a relationship looks like, regardless of who cheated or who did what they did, the situation boils down. It's just like, dang, these people couldn't even stay together.
Right.
And these people are supposed to love me, supposed to love each other, supposed to love our family enough that they wouldn't go out and do something to jeopardize our family.
Right.
But they did it. And so that...
And for what?
And for what? You know? And so from that standpoint, obviously, you know, kids emulate the things they see. And like, I don't know if Derrick Jaxsn has a son or not.
I know there was kids. We heard in her video there was
kids in the background.
And it sounded like younger kids.
Yeah. And it's just like, what are you teaching your son right now? What are you teaching your daughter right now?
Or like, even if it's later in life, like, from where I'm standing from, don't try to tell me.
You can't tell me nothing.
Don't tell me how to treat a woman. Like,
you've been trash your whole life, Dad.
If you got a daughter, how you gonna tell her what kind of man she wants? Not one like you.
Basically, but then that requires a level of humility, because it's like you have to confront with yourself how screwed up you are and the mistakes that you made, and then you don't present yourself as this cookie cutter perfection thing of perfection as far as what a spouse should look like. You have to be honest, like, yeah, like, I have not always deserved your mom. I have not always done everything to make your dad happy. Like, these are how relationships break down. This is what you should do, opposite of what I did, to have a long, meaningful, healthy, loving relationship.
Like, I couldn't imagine, and I think we still got some time, but sitting down with our daughter and being like, the kind of man you want is not like me. Like, that would crush me to have to be honest and transparent to say, you don't want a guy like me. Like, I'm not the kind of guy that I would want you to bring home. I want you to bring someone home not like me. Or to have my sons be like, don't be like me as a husband or as a father. Like, that would be awful to have to be transparent and honest and be like, listen, I'm trash. Like, I ain't got it. Like, I just didn't. And like, there's a level of honesty, but that would just be brutal to be like, I can try and I guess point you to someone else's household, be like Johnny's dad down the street.
Not Johnny's dad down the street.
Like, that's crazy. Like, the level of responsibility and it's just not there. So with that, I know we kind of talked about infidelity. Are there other deal breakers that you have in relationships?
Yes. Deal breakers. You have to respect me. Like,
dig deeper into respect you.
My opinions,
even when you're wrong?
Yeah, even when, because it's an opinion. Like, I'm not saying what I say is a fact and, you know, we build our foundation on it. I'm saying my opinions. You need to respect my right to be my own person. Like, I can't be with someone who expects me to be just like them or think the way they do or do things the way they do or just none of that. And that's something I learned really early in relationships, actually. Like, when I was younger dating, like, I couldn't be with someone who would let me walk all over them because I would do it and I'd be fine with it, but then that gets boring. But then I also couldn't be with someone.
Take notes, man. Don't let women walk all over you because it gets boring.
But then I also couldn't be with someone who didn't give me space to be me. And that's really important to me, especially at this point in my life. Like, you spend so much time like building the person you are and, you know, loving yourself and all that. I'd be daggone if I would let somebody come in and be like, nah, you trash, you should be like this. That's not how it works for me, personally. Other deal breakers, violence, because I'm not about that life.
Okay.
I'm just not. Like, you can't push me. None of that. None of it. And one, because I'll hit back. And then we'll just be fighting. And then that's just not going to work. Real, it's just not. And then, obviously, well, we're married. But before we were married with Courtney, it's like, you have to love my kid. If you're going to be with me, Courtney is a part of me. And she's not going anywhere. You're not going to disrespect her. You're going to love her. We are a package deal, and it is what it is. And if you ain't with the package, then, you know, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. Like,
so clearly I did those things.
You did all those things.
So I kind of divide it a little bit between like pre-marriage and post-marriage. So pre-marriage, the list is a lot longer. Post-marriage, it gets pretty small. Within the marriage, really, I kind of talked on it. Loyalty, respect, don't cheat. As far as deal breakers. Now, are there more things I might want? 100%. But as far as like drop dead situations, really, it's, you know, the infidelity piece. You cheat, I can't rock with you. Because I can't trust you. And if I can't trust you, then I'm going to be miserable. And I'm not about to sit around being miserable because you trash. Just not how I'm going to live my life. Pre-marriage, it's a little different. I 100% agree with violence. Like, I'm not with it. I'm not a big play fighter, not with men or women. Well, with women, you can play fight a little bit, as long as it's not like real fighting. Like, we're wrestling and trying to go somewhere. But you don't do that before marriage. So that's fine. But definitely like no violence. With kids involved, like and I always said I never wanted someone with kids, so you're lucky.
Lucky? You're lucky.
Okay. Yeah. we are lucky.
Right.
To have found one another. But yeah, if you have kids involved, I think you have to be able to respect said kid. Like, I'm talking about the person I'm with. Mm-hmm. If you got kids, like, you should be able to take care of your kids. You should definitely not be choosing your boyfriend over your child or your girlfriend over your child. Again, when it gets to marriage, it flips, and that's a whole different conversation for another day.
Most definitely.
And that's tough to flip that switch, especially when you've been a single parent. I can't do liars. It's just, if I can't trust you, I can't have you out of my sight, and I don't always want you around. So that's going to be a problem. What? What's so funny?
I don't always want you around. What is that?
People need their space. I need my space. I grew up an only child. I like my time alone. I like my silence. I like if I need to get in the car and go for a ride. I used to play video games until I had all these kids and I never let you do it. They were throwing your controllers everywhere all the time, and then you never know where they are. But no, I value, alone time. And so if I'm spending time alone, and then when I come out of my alone time and I reach out to you and you're not available, or you tell me you're someplace and then it finds out you're not, then that's not gonna work. And the point is, if you lie ahead of time, like, I just don't like being with liars. Like, liars aren't fun. Like, it's just, and I've known people, and some of them have been, friends, and they just lie for no reason. Like, I know you lying. Why are you lying? Like, I can't date, I can't date someone like that. And then for me, faith. Like, if you out here acting crazy, and like, my level of relationship with God is going to frustrate you. It ain't going to work. Like, we're going to go to church on Sundays. We're probably going to watch Bible studies because of COVID, or we're going to be involved in church on a regular basis. Church is not like something I pick up and put down. Church is my lifestyle. And so if you ain't with that, it's going to frustrate you, and you're better off finding somebody else. So those are really probably the biggest things for me. Don't be lying. Can't stand liars. It'd be great if you're good with money. I don't like broke people. I like to do stuff. I like to travel. And
he is expensive, y'all.
And I am. And God made me that way. So if you don't like it, blame him. But I like to travel, and I like to bring luggage. And I don't want to have to carry your luggage. financially within a situation. So, yeah, have some money. Don't be a liar. Take care of your kids. Love God. And don't be a cheater. And we're here. So.
Well, I did all of those things.
You did. You did. Some even better than others, which is great. But that's really, you know, my 2 cents on the situation, and then even our situation of relationships. I will say this, and then I'll let you kind of, you know, do your part. But again, ma'am, Mrs. Jaxsn, I respect you. I couldn't do what you did. I feel like I've articulated that. I've shared that. I really do pray that it works out for you and that you are fully satisfied in the decision that you've made. By faith, I believe that it will work out, that there will be a change in this man's heart and this man's actions, that he will see to it to not continue to be this, that he will go against what I believe, that once a cheater, always a cheater. And I don't believe necessarily that once you cheat, you will always cheat. I believe once you cheat, if the situation gets detrimental enough, you will resort to cheating. So I don't think people that just cheat just to cheat. But I think when the stresses of life happen and they resort and that's their outlet, I believe they will do that. So just for clarity on that. But I respect you. I'm praying with you. And to those that are listening, don't cheat. Don't be a liar. Be better. And don't listen to no more Derrick Jaxsn videos.
Yeah, I think that's my biggest takeaway from this situation. Like, be careful who you get your counsel from.
100%.
Because you have people, women, I guess, who ended their relationships because of his advice. You have this whole situation breaking down the way that it has. And he's like the ultimate hypocrite right now.
Ultimate.
But again, like, people were looking to him for advice. Like, he didn't get to where he is because nobody put any stock in what he was saying.
100%.
He got to where he is because people were listening, they were tuning in, they were buying books, they were watching seminars because of the advice of this person who wasn't living the way that he claimed to be. And again, if he is really on a path to become a better person, to heal from whatever it is that makes him do what he does, then at some point, then yeah. But you've got to speak from a place of honesty and humility about who you are, who you've been, and the person you're working towards. Like, I think that's a really simple requirement of him at this point. And just based on the things that I've seen and all that, I don't see him becoming that person. So don't seek advice from people who you don't really know what they've been through. Like, you don't know their testimony. And again, like, I hope everything works out for them. But if not, I'm sure God is going to bless her in whatever he sees for her in the future. 100%.
I will say in closing, like, it takes a special kind of person to get on camera, mass produce a video bashing people who are just like you, and then removing yourself and saying,
I'm better than you.
I'm better than you, even though this video is about me. Like, the way in which he does that, I think, is why he carries this level of arrogance that I see still, because at some point he got to a place where I think innately we all know, like, cheating's wrong. I think innately, naturally, God created us to believe that cheating is wrong. And somewhere along the line, that gets broken. And we justify it, we rationalize it, and we begin to become okay with it. But to then go out and talk bad about people that cheat while you're cheating, while you're on your way or outside the person you're cheating with house, that's a whole different level. So I really, really hope that he gets the help he needs, because that requires help. Like, that's not just something you drop one day and you're like, all right, I'm better. Like, that's going to take some help. So I hope he gets that. And for the family, for her, again, we'll be praying for y'all. that there is healing that comes from all of this, that y'all can grow through this. Again, much respect to you. So, thank you again. Episode 5 is complete. Definitely go back and check out some of our other episodes if you haven't already. We got some great things coming.
We got some really dope stuff coming, as she said. We've got a couple of trips that we're about to take because we need more stamps in our passports.
Oh, so we're going out of the country?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
You didn't know that, did you?
I did not know that.
His birthday's coming up, y'all. We're just excited for everything that we've got going on. And we're really glad that you guys are all subscribing, watching, listening. And please comment, ask questions. We are super excited or happy to engage with everybody because, this is what it was kind of for. You guys could be like the third person to tell him that he's wrong and I'm right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's never gonna happen. Because, I'm pretty much always. So, yeah. Thanks again. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Like, share, subscribe on YouTube. We're also on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're on Anchor. We're all over. So definitely continue to do that and share with others. Continue to help us grow so that we can help you guys grow as well. We love y'all. Take it easy.